Hundreds of young doctors are backing legal action over claims of unpaid overtime and what they say are extreme working hours that put the public at risk. New data obtained by 7:30 shows half of junior doctors have reported making mistakes on the job because they're tired or overworked. Class actions are underway in 2 states, but another court battle is about to be launched that could affect thousands of junior doctors in the public health system. Nadia Daly reports.
After a 16-hour day, I get to my car and I really hope I'm going to be able to get home safely. I haven't been able to take a break. In many cases, I haven't eaten in 12 or 14 hours. You don't drink water during the day because, taking time to go to the bathroom is time away from patient care.
Working overtime is nothing new for Gavin Wayne. The 28-year-old registrar has regularly worked beyond his rostered shifts at major Melbourne hospitals since he left medical school 3 years ago.
But it can come from a particular bosses saying, you're going to need to stay back today, and we don't pay overtime. That's just the hours that we're expected to work because for many of our bosses, that's what they had to do. Nearly all junior doctors are on a 12-month contract. We have incredibly insecure employment. And to tell the truth, they're scared. They're fearful for their career progression.
Dr. Wayne says it's not unusual for doctors to work a couple of extra hours each day. A 13-hour shift could sometimes become 16 hours with overtime. And while he's rarely paid for them, his biggest concern is the impact of the long shifts on his patients.
If we're so fatigued and we're making little mistakes, a little slip with a medication here, a little slip with a decibel point here, that has profound effects, not just on length of stay in hospital, but in the worst situations, that can have effects on mortality.
Any free time outside his long shifts is spent studying for exams or trying to wind down and recharge before his next shift. Dr. Wayne is among a group of junior doctors suing their employers in separate class actions against several hospitals in the federal court.
I love my job. I really do. The job should be hard. We all enjoy it, we knew that when we went in, that it would be a difficult and all-consuming, sort of lifestyle. This is not about doctors trying to say, we want to work less. It's about doctors trying to say, people are working far beyond what we would consider safe. There are tangible effects and fears on patient care as a result of that.
Lawyer Andrew Grech is leading the class actions in Victoria, which have been launched by the union ASMOF and supported by the Australian Medical Association. If it's successful, he says more than 10,000 junior doctors may be eligible for compensation for unpaid overtime. 1,000 doctors have expressed interest in joining the class action.
We've heard examples of doctors working 24, sometimes 30 hours in a straight stretch. Now, you can just imagine the outrage there would be if we asked a pilot to fly a plane for 24 or 30 hours at a stretch.
Long working hours, unpaid overtime, long-standing issues in medicine have been going on for decades. Why has this issue come to a head now?
I think really out of frustration. We really can't sustain a system that relies on unpaid overtime. Many of them are being asked to work between 15 and 25% extra for no reward.
The Australian Medical Association's latest survey of 1,000 junior doctors in Victoria, given exclusively to 7:30, found half of those surveyed had made a clinical error due to fatigue, excessive workload or understaffing last year. A third said they'd raised concerns about workload but were brushed off, and almost 50% said they were never paid for unrostered overtime. The main reason was the cultural expectations of the hospital they work at.
There's a number of impacts of this kind of insidious culture problem within our system. We've seen car accidents at the end of shifts and we've seen medical errors. We know that doctors working excessive hours are working at the same level as they would be if they had been drinking alcohol to a level of 0.05. You wouldn't be allowed to drive at that level of performance.
Doctors say the issue is widespread. 3 government health services managing major hospitals including Frankston, Monash Children's, Dandenong, Casey and La Trobe regional hospitals are being sued. 7:30 can reveal Western Health is expected to be the next network facing a class action. It runs hospitals including Sunshine and Footscray.
It's my 8th year now of working as a doctor and I love it, but it does have some dark side to it.
Another junior Victorian doctor well accustomed to the long hours required of the profession is 34-year-old registrar Carla Villafana Soto.
Every day patients are being put at risk. Their lives are in danger because they're being looked after by really overworked, really frustrated, very stressed doctors.
She says the demands of the profession can have tragic consequences.
Unfortunately, our profession loses colleagues to suicide. You know, it's not spoken of publicly, but we, you know, every couple of weeks we're hearing of someone who's passed away, of a colleague we've lost, and it's you know, that's what's driven us to do this.
All the hospitals and the Victorian government said in separate statements they value their staff and respect the rights of their staff to receive proper payment. La Trobe Regional Health Service declined to provide any comment. The first of the class actions will be heard by the Federal Court tomorrow. The legal process is likely to take years to reach a conclusion.
We're not unhappy with what we earn. It's not about money. It seems that money is the only language that the hospitals will listen to because they haven't listened to our pleas for improved safety.
Do you feel that they're listening now?
I hope that the hospitals are listening. I hope the patients are listening. I hope that, you know, the government is listening because it's a cry for help.
We would like to be able to drive them to the table to be able to try and hammer out a better future for everybody so that we can get on with it, doing our job, and that we can deliver the patient care to the Australian people that they really deserve.